Yes. That's the power of the individual. That's the power of one person making a difference. So I want you to start calling your elected officials, getting to know your elected officials. Call the White House, voice your opinion. Here is the number for the White House. Get your pencils out. 202. Get your pencils out. Schedule that number in your cell phones. When you're sitting in traffic at a traffic light, call that number. Call that number. They tally every phone call because this is how they keep their finger on the pulse of the nation. If you are unhappy with President Bush selling Israel down the drain while you're sitting at a traffic light, make that phone call. The number is 202-456-1111. 202-456-1111. Program it in your cell phone. This is a line to leave comments. You don't have to talk to anybody. You're not going to be arguing with anybody. You call, baby, and you just let it rip for 5 minutes or how long it takes you sitting in traffic. Another very practical tip. Sign up at a university. Many people are fed up with what's happening in our universities. Many people don't realize that if you are over the age of 55 years old in the United States of America, you can sign up at any university to take a course free of charge. You need to sign up in the Middle East Study Department and the Political Science Departments and start taking courses. Not that you can get a degree, not so that you can graduate, but your job in that class is to monitor the professors who are brainwashing our children and feeding them lies. Yeah. That's right, baby. You sit in that class. You sit in that class. And your job, when the professor says a lie, you stand up and you set the record straight. You know your history. You know information that an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20 years old does not know. Because our children are not studying what they should be studying in high school about our nation. So they are being told lie by Arab professors hired and funded by the Saudi government in our universities to brainwash our students. The students cannot challenge the professor even if they knew the facts, and here is why. They will get bad grades. Those students who are, yes, they'll get bad grades, and we don't want to put them in that position. But you can stand up and set the record straight, not so that you put the professor in his place, but you'll be able to give the students a different point of view that they will not hear unless you are in this class. If the professor doesn't listen, you go to the dean, you take it to the authorities, and you file a report that this professor is teaching biased things, and you spread the word in your community. You spread it via email to all your list, and you make your people call the university and complain. Can you imagine if there are 2, 3, or 4 of you in that class, the power that you will have in challenging that professor? I challenge you, every single one of you, if you are over 55 years old and you have time, sign up for an evening class and go attend Middle East Study Department and Political Science Departments. We need your help there. Also, another tactical tip for those who have children in schools, especially middle and high school. As you know, they just instituted this year nationwide the education of the Islam project throughout the United States. They realized that brainwashing our children in college has worked so well that they decided, why don't we start with them young? Let's start it in middle and high school. We are talking children who are 11, 12, and 13 years old studying Islam all the way up, and then they get to college, they are already brainwashed and ready to go. So, when your job is to sign up, become a volunteer in your child's school. Join the PTA, so you will know what books are being introduced in the schools. Join the school board, attend the meeting, and become a volunteer. Find out what they're doing. Become friends with the school board teachers. Become friends with the teachers. So you can have an input, so you can have an inside scoop with them, and you can develop rapport with them. When your children bring the books home, make sure your kids bring their homework home as well as the books. So you can go through them and you can see what the kids are learning, especially in history. Keep that homework, or make sure your child brings back that homework to you after it has been graded. Because you need that paper so you and other parents that you will meet while volunteering, or other parents in your community, can form a group or become a part of our groups, which I will talk about later, actforamerica.org. You can be a part of our group, and then you can schedule a meeting with your elected official. All elected officials come back to their localities every Mondays and every Friday. They are there. Schedule a meeting with them so you can walk in with the lessons in your hands as evidence. You make copies, you give it to your elected official and say, this is what is being taught in our public schools. I'm not happy about it. I want you to do something about it, and I want an answer from you by the time I speak to you next time, or we want an update 1 week later. And we are a part, we're not coming to you as 1 or 2 parents. We are coming to you as a part of a huge group called Act for America, and we represent 5,000 people in the state of California, whatever it is. See, you need to join someone bigger than you. You alone cannot do it. What we want to do is network the nation, which I will get back on later. But this is something you need to remember. Today, if you have a child in school, make sure you start volunteering, join the PTA, get their homework, save their homework, and schedule appointments with your elected officials. With ACT, we founded ACT because we wanted to mobilize the nation. We wanted to inspire the nation. We wanted to influence millions of people, not only get them the truth, but get them tips as to what they can do, just like I told you. We are forming groups right now nationwide. If any of you are on our mailing list or emailing list, we have just launched Act for America and the chapter network, the Citizens Action Network, and we got 355 chapters where leaders said they want to lead chapters in their localities all over the United States. We have many in California. We have some here in this church. And we want to network you together. At the end of my presentation, we're going to have a table outside for Act for America. I want every single one of you to sign up to join our chapters so together we can make a difference. You're no longer a one person, but you are a group that cannot be divided and cannot be conquered. Another thing, amen. See, enough of political correctness, enough of feeling helpless, enough of feeling I cannot do anything about it, because we can do something about it once we put our mind to it, once we realize what's at stake, and that we are losing our country right before our own eyes. That's when we realize if we don't do something now, we can kiss our country goodbye. And if you cannot think it can happen here, just look at Europe. It took Europe, Eurabia, 30 years of Islamic infiltration to get to where it is today. We are going at the speed of a rocket, much faster than Europe, and we don't have much time to waste. I wanted to sign up with the chapters because we are networking and training the groups and not only informing you what's happening in your localities and in other localities, but we want to start training and educating you how to do media monitoring. For example, you have a group of 30 in your chapter, and you have a newspaper in your community that's writing derogatory articles and lies about the United States, about Israel, which is pure lies. Your job is to have people from your group appointed to monitor that publication and write letters to the editors immediately. You have got to start speaking out. If the editor does not listen, then you schedule an appointment with that editor and say you represent members of your community and you're going to boycott that newspaper. If he does not listen, you go to your local whatever advertiser. If you open up the newspaper, you'll see a bunch of advertisers, especially car dealership, whatever dealership. You go to Mr. Ford, who owns the biggest Ford dealership in your area, and you say, Mr. Ford, I am sure, I do not know if you realize, but our newspaper is saying all these bad things about America. And you quote some articles. And you say, we know you are a freedom-loving American. We know that you love members of the community and you love our country that has blessed you so much with your dealership and your success.